Hello, hello. Okay. Audio is a go. All right, so Borderlands 4 got revealed, and this is just really haphazard and sort of splotchy. But I'll be reacting right now. I feel everything yet nothing. Probably because there's so much anticipation for things. And once I saw that, I was like, okay, well, you guys technically own, what is it, Civilization? No, fuck, not Civilization. A third game came out of some sort of series, I forgot. One of the first very prominent thoughts I had about this was how the art style is not really prevalent. It's quite realistic. Now, of course, this is just a small cinematic, like every thought that you could possibly have in defense against my comment regarding its stylization. I know. But okay, so one thing to take note of here. Um, it's definitely the activity on Elpis. We're going to Elpis again. It's, if anything, I feel as if this game is probably going to be some amalgam of everything across the franchise. Maybe, because that's something I was considering they could do. Obviously, we're going to try to find Lilith. I don't really like Lilith. I don't really care what happened to her, but considering that it's the big plot point they left us on with to wrestle with in the ending of the first game, the third game. We're definitely gonna go to Elpis. We're gonna try to figure out what happened. The scar is purple. That right there, those aren't. That's not volcanic light. That looks like a civilization is on there. So they kind of got that wrong a little bit. Those the orange illuminations that you see on Elpis. That's never really been civilization. That's been magma, and it kind of looks like it's trying to pass it off as civilization, light. I don't know what that is. Why is it breaking a hole in the sky? Oh, is this going to be like the actual Eridian homeworld or something? It was veiled by some sort of weird magical force, and it's breaking it because that's where Lilith teleported it to. Oh, it's the Eridians. Okay. Because as the trailer progresses, there's a mask, and whoever fucking dropped that means nothing. Um, it's just to show you that it's Borderlands. These are going to be the Eridians, aren't they? Or maybe the species of like the flak robots? Are we going to see Omega Labs? If you guys don't know what Omega Labs is, guys, I'm saying this as if I have a fucking audience. There was this alternate dimension skin that they made for Flak where his um, collar had shown the decal of some kind of unknown company we're not really familiar with called Omega Labs. And that could be that library or archiving facility that he worked for was. And I'm wondering if we're going to get a bit of an insight to that, maybe. Are the Eridians, have they transported their consciousness into robots, and this is their true home world? They've been hiding from their creations, or something much larger, or I don't know. The speculation can never end. Um, uh, grass, grass. It's weirdly realistic. I don't think this is going to be representative of what the game looks like, though. At least I really fucking hope not. Okay, let me just tell my buddies that I'm watching this. Okay. Uh, this isn't Promethea, is it? Borderlands 3 Atlas Headquarters. Show me the building. Ah! Oh god! Okay, sorry. It's You just get small little realizations that it's a thing. It's a bit surreal. That's the most inflamed my reaction has been so far. It's been piped down for a while. Uh, so excuse me for a little. God, I'm so worried. There's been too many people saying that this is their last chance, and I'm just so worried. Okay, it's purple. Is that gonna break? And then boom, the destroyer is unleashed. How significant is this plot going to be? Are they establishing and setting up whatever they're going to do with this fourth game for a continuous sleuth of sequels that will just essentially never stop? Or are they knowing when to comfortably place their period to bring a conclusion to this franchise? Because you can tire it out. Tire it out. Words. It's like this gives me kind of like vibes of Halo 4, where uh uh Requiem, the shield world, was something that you stumbled upon after the ship that Master Chief was on had just been, careening through space for, almost half a decade. And found the secretive place. What the fuck is this setting up for? What does this mean? The only thing this means to anyone so far is Lilith teleported Elpis and Eridian homeworld, the true Eridian homeworld. Is that what they're trying to communicate with this? Because there was nothing in Borderlands 3 that had told us something like this could happen, or that we should keep an eye out for something like this. They have never talked about some secret fucking hidden area, or some. Are they like? Is she okay? Okay, so Lilith powers, by the way, originally it was never about teleporting. Borderlands 2 gave her teleporting powers, and they kind of included it in a well-moderated sense. But originally, she was kind of like Wraith from Apex, where she doesn't teleport, she goes into another universe, and then she can traverse through she can traverse through that universe, like that's layered over our own. So then when she stops traversing through that universe, she becomes visible again, and that just showcases the effect of like teleportation, or it's like an illusion of teleportation. But she's never had teleportation powers, so maybe this has something to do with the fact that she visits this other Eridian dimension, and when you teleport something so large while needing to use the alternate dimension as a catalyst for transportation, then it fucked something up, and now it's made their dimension visible to us. Very, very strange. Again, like I said, the only kind of like material that we're familiar with here is just the fact that she teleported the moon. Maybe they chose to do the moon teleportation thing because they wanted to make it clear to... Damn, only 3 dislikes, so this really has been the thing that people have been looking after. They do not care about the movie, they don't care about the spin-offs, they just want the next game. Wow. Let me change that. Just kidding. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence with this one, but anyway, yeah, because they wanted to make it apparent to the general audience, the most people, that she didn't just like shield the moon or make it invisible or something, that she actually teleported it. Because many people, from what I've seen in reaction to the Borderlands 3 ending, they thought she didn't teleport it. She just like encased it in a shell or something that prevented it from making a connection to Pandora and then opening up fucking Pandora and unleashing the Destroyer and stuff. So, this is probably supposed to clear that type of error while leaving something mysterious and being like, keep an eye out for that. Robot hand. This is gonna be so weird. This feels so surreal. It's just like, this is like the Borderlands trailer I'd see in my dream. And when I say dream, I don't mean like, oh, it's dreamy. It's everything I've dreamed of. It's like, it's just so interestingly concocted. It's a teaser. It is. It's accomplishing what it's doing, I suppose. Really fucking teasing us. Oh, God. Oh, God. There are a lot of noises I need to make. Most of those noises being self-soothing attempts at explanation and also just screaming because the surreality of it. Surreality? Is that a fucking word? Ashton? Yep, you're here.
Yeah. Listen to me,
Have you been
Susie.
talking to me for like, or have you been here for like the past 20 minutes or what?
I was just like 10 seconds.
10 seconds ago. All right, so
Listen to
I've
me.
recorded for like the last 20 minutes. I'm just vomiting out my mind and everything that's coming to it currently. I think what's happening is that we're gonna see the Eridians officially, and maybe they've been in hiding because did you see how like the moon that Lilith teleported is like scarring the sky and opening up some kind of like other fucking dimension? I don't know. I thought it was like maybe Promethea, but we already visited that and we saw that. Here, let me share my screen.
Susie, hold on, man. Listen to me. I'll be on in a couple minutes, alright?
You gotta like be on in a couple minutes. You wanted to tell me
No,
that you were gonna do something else.
I'm getting on in a couple minutes, but just give me some time, alright? 20 minutes or whatever.
Okay, then yes. Why didn't you
Alright,
just
so.
text that to me?
I wanted to make it more official.
Right,
Like,
get out of here.
alright, hold on. Soon.
God, I am so fucking terrified. Oh my god. And honestly, it just might infuriate me because, like I told you, right? Did you already leave? Yeah. Well, just like I've told him, pretty much, I'm very passionate about this franchise. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of very specific ideas about mending, um, proper appropriation. And when I say that, I mean just like taking the material that you've kind of put out that's shit and making it work with something that's really good and satisfying. Something that can be a satisfying conclusion. It's just so that's why I might be really irritated. It's just because this isn't something I've worked on. I couldn't have helped maybe polish the vision, make it feel right. Just concerns. It's again, like I said, just speaking my mind and sort of with no serious organization to any of this. I'm just really is just happening. So, you know what? I think Gearbox. Oh my god. Okay. Now this is dumb. Generally, people don't want to make something bad if they don't have to, and they won't because it's too much of a loss. But since I like to think about manipulative things and just schemes and plans, well, as they say, any publicity can be good publicity, even if it's bad. And given all the attention that the Borderlands movie has received, what if their goal with it was to not make really a good movie? It was to bring a lot of eyes to Borderlands, because when you have an outlet to seriously complain about something, it brings a lot of attention to it. So they make something super bad, so when they release Borderlands 4 and it's just it's decently good, then that's enough to win people over. So pretty much you've like reset the medium for quality. It's now you can fuck up again and it can work and people are like, "Oh, it's just slightly less good." That's definitely not what's happening, but again, like I said, just whatever comes to my mind. That would be really interesting if something shitty was intentional, which is why I have these thoughts. They're interesting just to consider. What if it really was just a fucking stunt? Pulling this whole Borderlands movie thing to make it seem shitty and then being like, aha, here's the fourth game, and it's mildly better than the previous games. And that's just enough to make people think that you've output something remarkable. I really hope this is not representative of how the game is going to look. Borderlands were like, in the gaming industry at least, they're like the pioneers to like cell shaded appearances. I know it's not technically cell shaded, but the cell shaded appearance in gaming. They're the ones that essentially founded it. When you see another game that looks similar to Borderlands with the black lines and it's cartoony, people go like, "Hey, that's Borderlands." They draw a connection to it. It's quite rare to have something that powerful in your grasp. Is when some people make comparisons to your own game when something else comes out. And the fact that not only with New Tales have it's showcased that they're kind of starting to slightly stray away from the stylization it should master and embrace. I'm worried that Borderlands 4 is going to be too cinematic for its own good, and it's not going to be as cartoony and simplistic as the previous games. Fuck. By the way, do yourself a favor. I should have said this in the beginning, but do yourself a favor and double speed this, because there's going to be a lot of just like passive sitting and staring off into all the possibilities that could be and all the worries that we definitely share. I know this is a shared type thing we're going to have as a community. There's so many things we're going to be worried about. What the fuck? Said one of the first things I thought of too was like Ash from Jesus, Apex. There is an Ash type character that I have thought of for Borderlands before. Being sort of once again part of that like weird syndicate or company that Flack was under the wings of until he, went rogue, gained sentience, I guess. Found a new infatuation with the metaphorical concept of death. It's a playable character. We're gonna look at the nails. Oh, this is gonna be so weird. Borderlands 4 teaser. So they're definitely gonna do a showcase like in a week or two. They want to have this hype be somewhat. They want it to remain fresh before they dive into the specifics. I also I preemptively made a post before this whole trailer even came out. Like I faked Borderlands 4. I said, guys, so what do you think? Just with the small inclination that maybe, based off of the small inclination that maybe Borderlands 4 would be revealed, just so I could get ahead of the curve. Ahead of the curve. And it turns out it actually happened. Let's see what people had to say. Nothing else. I probably got disliked to hell. Let's see this. Reddit does like doing that. But they don't ditch the cell shade. That's what makes Borderlands stand out for the crowd. I know. Thank you. That, Jesus Christ. Was what? Here, I'll pause for this, you guys. Okay, let's review. So I paused because sometimes it takes a little bit to write this stuff. So let's review. Yeah, so that was one of my concerns. That was what one of my concerns was as well. I really hope this teaser isn't representative of what the game might look like. Borderlands, in a way, was a pioneer to the cartoony, cel-shaded art style in the game industry, and is lucky to have such an established and well-recognized style that when other games look cartoony or have the same characteristics or behavior to Borderlands, functionally, they are often compared to Borderlands. I mean, think about that. Having that kind of leverage, that specialty of identity, it's so amazing and important, and not many developers can have the luxury of being that game that people use to compare you to. People.
Hello.
Man, if you can have that, you're very lucky. So,
Can you
the
believe
fact
it,
that
Sushi?
each game since 3 has ever been so slightly luring away from stylization worries me heavily. I mean, Borderlands can be like the Spider-Verse within the game industry, and within the game industry, completely feeling. By the way, I made a Reddit post about its reveal like 2 hours before it happened, just in prediction of it occurring, and I'm like ahead of the game for anyone else doing it. So I did that because I just had a hunch.
Did you predict anything in particular?
No, because this teaser offers effectively nothing. I said, and look, you can look at it. I said, so thoughts on Borderlands 4 reveal? I'm ready. By the way, not 2 hours, 40 minutes ago. I was trying to do it earlier, but there's a Reddit like server issue. It's just time trying to push back, not letting me get what I want. Thoughts on the Borderlands 4 reveal? I'm ready for those flying vehicles and for the story to be mildly better than 3, yet as a game overall will be unremarkable. Due to the New Tales crystal, I figured we would have gotten a trailer that shows like the life crystal from New Tales, something more, but it's just the Elpis, the moon.
This is funny. Man, yeah, you knew it was coming. Although, what's up with that robot hand? Is that who? What the fuck is that? Who is that?
I don't know. I had a small hunch that we're gonna see the. Oh God, that could be it. Yeah, that we're gonna see like where Flak came from and potentially Zero. Or that could be an Eridian. It could be a Guardian robot that's like more advanced than the others, and this is like some sort of like, you know, secretly veiled world. You saw how the moon like scored this like opening in the sky.
Opened up like a rift.
Yeah, the rift in space or whatever. So, as I said to my camera here in my video that I'm making right now, is I believe. Like, I've explained to you what Lilith's powers are, right? Originally, she didn't teleport. She was like Wraith from Apex, where she goes into another dimension that's, like, very almost precisely layered over hours, and when she becomes, or she gets out of it, then it just, like, showcases the illusion of teleportation, but she doesn't technically teleport. Borderlands 2 made her teleport, but I figure when she phase walks, she still has that kind of ability. So what happened is maybe there's a limit to what you can teleport, and she teleported to the moon, which is so fucking big that it's like, uh-oh, you kind of caused like a tear in space wherever she teleported it to, and that tear in space is that other dimension she travels to quote-unquote teleport or like hide herself, and that's where the Eridians have been hiding this entire time.
Dude, I think it also might just be the villain for this game. They're
Could
like,
be the villain,
what
yeah.
is this? And
Could be
they've
a
never
robot.
heard of
I had a little, like, I've showed you my, like, Tyrek villain for my own personal story, right? You know, he's the one-eyed robot with the screen face.
Yeah.
My own character. Yeah. So something I thought about was if I ever worked for Gearbox or I was going to like, you know, pitch certain stories and ideas, I'm like, well, since I'm already working on exactly what I want to, and my own game is practically like kind of like, it's trying to be like Borderlands within itself, then I will just like give them this villain idea and potentially make it something a bit more less human. So when you have a robot, and pretty much I would have given them a robot villain. So that would be interesting if we have some kind of android or something. But yeah, it could be, I have a couple theories. It could be Flak's place of origin, because he worked at this archivist center or some big ass library. And here, let me share my screen. Borderlands 3 alternate universe skins. It could be another universe. I don't know, but here. Okay. You looking?
Yeah.
Okay, so on his chest there's this logo, and I look at the official model for that. Oh, there you go. See, you can actually see it. Omega Labs. So these right here, these are the skins that show us what the Vault Hunters would have looked like in Borderlands 3 if they continued on the paths they did, or they continued on their paths normally in their lives rather than like getting distracted with vault hunting. Like if Moze never quit Vladov, she would have become like a commandant or like some colonel or some shit. Zane would have continued being an assassin. He wouldn't have quit doing like hit jobs for people. And Amara would have become like the celebrity. And Flak, it looks like he just gets like a few more modular upgrades, or hell, maybe those are things that he had originally, but then he like stripped off of himself because he's like, I don't want to remember the place I just escaped from. And he was some kind of library robot from this one Echo recording we have. He worked for this person called the Grand Archivist, and I've been developing a lot of like personal stories that orbit around the idea of Omega Labs. Just literally, this is the only thing we know about this company, is just that name on his neck brace. That's it. So when we saw this reveal and I saw this building there, I figured this kind of looks high tech, it looks posh, and these people, this like strange sort of potentially illustrious and bizarre like company that possibly does a lot of like morally questionable things, like experiment on people, give robots sentience, but then like force them to be librarians. That's pretty fucking evil. They could be hiding themselves in another dimension, and then they also are doing shit with the Eridians, and this planet opened a fucking hole to that, and we're gonna get some answers to Zero, and then Zero might be an Eridian. Hell, he could be a hybrid or something, because that's been a theory since like back when Borderlands 2 came out. So it'd be interesting if we follow suit for some fan theories there. So this could be Omega Labs, and in fact, I just recently put down some pictures of screenshots that I took in Borderlands 3, just what I do. And this right here in the 4th DLC in Borderlands 3, where you can go in Krieg's head, there's this mission where like you observe like ink blotches, and you're talking to the sane version of Krieg and also the insane version of Krieg, and they ask you like, what do you see in these blotches? And they're like consistently trying to prod a philosophical like deep answer out of you, and at the last one you give them the answer they're looking for, at least decently so. They're like, okay, that's good enough. They don't think you're like that deep or whatever. But one of the first ones that Flack looks at, when he looks at that and Krieg asks him like, what do you see? He says, I see like the archives like burning to a crisp. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I kind of try to like sniff out some shapes in this, like how could this be a building or a library, and really try to like overanalyze and sort of imbue my own personal ideas onto it. And I see like a potential building in that, so maybe it's the building. Like right there's like fucking some tapestry hanging down, like 3 cloth pieces hanging down in front of a grand entrance, and this is a big ass building, and these are the flames protruding out from the its various angles. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Man, I'm holding back a lot of like shrieking and noises like right now. This is like surreal. And dude, this is still coming from the guy who thinks that Borderlands 3 is a bit surreal. That was such a big, impactful release in my life that sometimes like when I'm just playing the game, or just when I'm thinking about Borderlands overall, I'm like, the 3rd game is out. It's here. So if that hasn't waned with its like effectiveness, then this is
You're not ready for the 4th one.
Not sure. No. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not.
Wait until 2025.
I think it's gonna release mid 2025. They're not gonna compete with GTA 6. Definitely not. They're gonna try to release it before then, which would be really interesting, because this is one of the first instances in Borderlands just history, where release history at least, where it hasn't done it in like September or October. So I think if they're gonna kind of break the mold a little bit, then they're gonna like potentially release it mid 2025. So that'll be interesting. Also, here I had this little theory that I said in my video here, and I said like generally when you want to make bad things, or you don't want to make bad things, but who knows? There's these people who make stuff. They could have big schemes behind it all. But pretty much one of my theories was that they made Borderlands the movie intentionally bad so to attract a bunch of publicity, because any publicity can be good. And when people want to all complain about something, and they lower their standards and their expectations because of the movie that you just produced, that doesn't really matter because it's a movie, it's set in its own universe, like who fucking cares? It lowers those set expectations, and when Borderlands 4 comes out and it's just okay, then people are kind of happy that it wasn't as bad as the movie. So, could be a stretch.
That'll be... Yep, that's one, yep.
But still. By the way, look at the reception, too. Only 3 dislikes, 7,000. It's literally what everyone's been just wanting to hear. They're like, shut the fuck up, Randy. Cringe. Shut up, movie. No. Oh, this. Oh, great. You got a little spin-off coming. Okay, here we go. All right. fucking be the fourth
Yeah.
one. Fourth one! There you go! Let's keep it there. Perfect. And I might be the first person to release a video, too. Definitely not. If I look this up right now, there's like a few YouTubers who are faster. They're very fast. Yeah.
You gotta get on it, though. You do.
I'm gonna just release this all unedited, and I'm just gonna usher for people to double speed it. Oh, wow, okay. I thought, alright. That's not bad, though. It just was very sudden. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff to say.
So what else at Gamescom?
Is this a
Go back to
dentist
Gamescom.
moment for you, by the way? Because you have been wildly unresponsive. Probably just because you've been
Well,
letting me talk.
I just want something more. I want to see the game.
Here, I haven't released this comment, but this guy, he noticed the same thing I did. Hope they don't ditch the cell shading art style. It's what makes Borderlands stand out from the crowd. And yeah, that's the weird thing that I noticed about this. It was like weirdly realistic.
Yeah, this is not even Borderlands. This is pretty much just.
Yeah. So I said, this is one of my
Really?
concerns was as well. I really hope the Caesar isn't representative of what the game might look like. Borderlands, in a way, was a pioneer to the cartoony, cel-shaded art style in the game industry, and is lucky to have such an established and well-recognized style that when other games look cartoony or have the same characteristics or behavior to Borderlands functionally, they're often compared to Borderlands. I mean, think about that. Having that kind of leverage, that specialty of identity, it's so amazing and important, and not many developers can have the luxury of being that game that people use you for comparison. Oh, this looks like a mixture of Halo, Borderlands, and Half-Life. Man, if you can have that, you're very fortunate.
Yeah, they gotta watch themselves. Make sure it's got black lines. I want black lines. It's just a cinematic trailer though.
Yeah.
So probably
So the fact
doesn't
that
mean
each
shit.
game, this is something I've also been thinking about. I'm wondering this cinematic type appearing trailer is indicative of Borderlands 4 being much more like a COD campaign, where it's much more on the rails and interactive as I hoped it would be, but maybe not in visually as I would hope it would be, which would be like Spider-Verse, Arcane type thing. It would be much more stylized, playing to its strength. Because I think I told this to you, but think of like people's like Borderlands' reputation for story as like a bar, and there's like a line like about 60% of the way into it, like cross down the line, or just cross down into the bar, and then pretty much like Borderlands 2 was past that bar, and all the games that were coming out after Borderlands 2 was like, oh yeah, and then Borderlands 3 came out, it was like, and it went behind the bar. And then they released Wonderlands, which was kind of okay, but people didn't really care about it because it wasn't Borderlands. And then New Tales, which set the bar even further, and now the movie, which set the bar down even further. So if they're going to return with a good story, but it's handled similarly to how the second game handles the story, which is just, kind of generic. There's nothing really that different in Borderlands if they were just to do it, just to handle everything as they always have, which is just like play the game, nothing too cinematic. Then it wouldn't get it back to that same position it was in when Borderlands 2 satisfied everybody. So pretty much to give yourself the leg up that you need to propel everyone's expectation and happiness back to that same standard it was at, it needs like cinematic storytelling, so it gives it more volume to reach that bar once more. And that's like the only like you look around at your different pieces that you have, you're like, okay, that piece, nope, that won't be enough length. Oh yeah, let me add this here. Oh well, now this is like too little because it's an arrangement type thing. And yeah, that's a more in-depth explanation that I'll have for another time. But I think you get what I'm trying to say. Is that there's like a very particular shape to what they need to do to get it back there. They can't do like Borderlands 2, but the best, but it's just like Borderlands 2 because people are like, this just feels the same, and it doesn't get it back there. It needs to do something fresh for Borderlands. Call of Duty type campaigns aren't anything new or anything special, but if it's in Borderlands, it feels different and new. All right.
So well, go back to the Gamescom live stream. Are there any other things that came out? Or I'll fucking do it, bitch.
Oh, did the dude take his comment down? That's weird. Did he? Okay, alright, it's still here. Still here.
Quite bizarre to see.
I also thought they would have gave it a different name, but they just went with 4.
I like it. Mysterious.
I do, me too.
It's gonna be fun because it's just 1, 2.
Still
3.
shiny though.
Yeah.
That was like part of my whole like rebranding idea, because obviously I've mouthed off about my whole like kind of stylization type thing. Make it like Spider-Verse, make it like Arcane. So pretty much that would also apply to branding. I would make it look much more rugged, like Borderlands 2 did. Borderlands 2 logo. Like kind of have it be a bit checkered, and look, it has like the band-aid, the inappropriate band-aid, or like the questionable band-aid. Like there's fucking band-aids on like pieces of metal in the game, but it's just like part of the style. It's funny. So it has a bit more of that cartoonish flatness, that ruggedness. And
Look up the third one. I need to see 3. That's like the same thing as 2.
no, it doesn't. It has shine,
Like,
but they have lines on it and stuff.
Okay, so yeah, this one it's thinner and it's more squished together and straight.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm down. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the game.
It's like someone.
I'm
It
ready
literally.
for the game
Okay,
now.
that's what's kind of a bit concerning. Maybe this is an actual new direction. They're not giving it. They're not stylizing it. Look, it's just gold.
Well, it's covered in black. Oh.
No, look at the logo in this one. It has those scratches. It has those lines drawn on top of it.
Yeah, but it's behind a white background, so you can see easily. But this is on black.
What?
There could be like big.
No,
thick
dude.
black
Actually,
lines
look at the
that you wouldn't see.
texture of. I'm not talking about the black outline. I mean, look at the texture of the lettering. It's just completely shiny.
It looks pretty thinly, yeah.
It's
Shiny
just gold.
or whatever.
But then when you look at this, there's like those inexplicable squiggles and scratches and shit. They like doing that as well. This all just something just feels wrong in the Force, and it's not because like, oh no, like this is Borderlands movie. I mean, like just something feels wrong.
No, it's gonna be the best game ever.
No,
because it feels so
no,
wrong.
something feels wrong. Very, very
because
wrong.
it feels wrong. I feel it too, but best game ever because it feels wrong. Sure.
Yeah, of course. Like, stay optimistic, but also don't climb that high in your expectation for it, because then when it ends up not being the best thing ever, then it feels like the worst thing just happened to you because you expected it to potentially be the best. The fall only hits you harder when you raise your expectations to such an apex.
Whatever it shows me, I'll think it's the best, even if it's the worst shit ever. So I'm just gonna think it's the best just because it's cool. All right, go to look up Gamescom.
No,
What
fuck,
else
just
do we
you
got?
do it. I'm doing this.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
I just wanted to see what you'd say.
Welcome to the franchise, Borderlands 4. You're coming in at kind of a low point. Borderlands 4 is here to save us. I believe. Loves copium. It's him, the Mask of John Borderlands. Finally, the series can begin. What is this, like, generic, like, human that always appears in all of our series? Like, John Fallout, John Halo.
John Fortnite.
John Fort. No. Please have better writing, for the love of God. Please have better writing. Please have better.
Yeah, isn't that like top comment?
No.
That was top comment for a little
bit, yeah. The more mistakes they made, the more they can learn from. That's just what I'm telling myself. And you know what? Borderlands 2, you wouldn't believe it, but at the time, it was kind of complained about as well. People sort of just, like, didn't care for the writing overall. But then once, it's like that saying of, like, once you lost what you didn't realize you, like, needed or loved, then everyone suddenly started caring about it a lot more. it wasn't that people didn't appreciate what Borderlands 2 did. People definitely recognized Handsome Jack was good, and that the story actually, did a lot more than what the first did for the, for the series. It was just that, like, people were like, all right, that's cool, good. But then suddenly it's like, it's like, it becomes gospel, or it becomes like the cream of the crop once Borderlands 3 doesn't handle dialogue as well as people hoped it would. No, when I say hope, there's an expectation, I guess. But, well, yeah, no, that works. The vault key itself crashing into a planet has so many loot possibilities. I wonder what the writer is going to be. I wonder if they got Anthony back, because he kind of misspoke in this interview. It was the series they did called Echoes from the Borderlands, and he said that he hasn't been fired from Gearbox yet. But that's kind of a general statement, because, like, even though he quit naturally, that technically doesn't count as being fired, obviously. So he did that when he still wasn't employed. This happened like about 11 months ago. But it could be like a subconscious slip up he made, where, like, he internally still views himself as a Gearbox employee, so that because he's actually still being employed there.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a consultant, because he did craft a lot of the universe and the rules, because there was a lot more that were added once the second game came out. So he's severely responsible for giving it the attitude that it has currently with the goofiness and stuff. So yeah, he's definitely brought back quite a lot, I'm sure.
I would hope so, I guess.
You don't know him in the same light that as I do. I don't know him personally, of course, but the more I see about him, I'm like, like, virtually you bear no difference from Sam Winkler, the Borderlands 3 writer. Like, in fact, he's one of the only writers that he does follow from like the new Gearbox team, which is interesting. And I have seen like Sam Winkler and his statements, his mannerisms, even they're just like pretty much Sam Winkler is just like another Anthony Birch. And the way I see it is that a writer is pretty much a tool. And I think Borderlands 2 had better direction, and Borderlands 3 had it's like Anthony Birch 2.0, not the same guy, but then worse direction. There was a different creative director, there was different vision, there was just different people, different times as well, which influences some certain decisions. And it makes him look like he's a fucking idiot, but I don't think it matters as much as some people might think it does.
Anthony made Borderlands 2.
So now, if it comes back, it's good. That's pretty much like how the perception is like people who don't really know him or see what he said or what he's like and what other kind of stuff he's written. People are like, come back, cause too good, had some Jack, or like, it's very simple dots to connect, but it's not that simple overall. Just want to know what's going on in there. This is weird. All right, well, if anyone in comments wants to just throw some speculations out at me, then feel free to do so. Not sure if I want to edit this. I'll probably clean it up in a little bit, but yeah, first video I put out on my channel. It's much more personalized in a while, at least. Me and my friend Rainier are working on some stuff. And severe emphasis on stuff, because stuff usually doesn't see full fruition. It's just like fucking randomness, and we'll see if we commit to it. But yeah, so for the 2 people that still watch my channel, yeah, I'll be posting. Motivation is building. This certainly helps with it. Yeah. Jesus. Fucking robot hand, no cartoon graphics. You can still see the lines on there. This could have been cobbled up quickly. Unreal. It's not on Unreal 5, by the way. Tanis thinks it might be. Imagine if they switched the game to Unreal 5. Wishlist it. Alright. I'm outie, as no one says, thankfully.